All right, hey guys, Jerry from Showtime Audio. So we have this 2021 Mercedes GLC300 with the Burmester system. Now, the Burmester system is their premium audio system, and it sounds pretty good. For a stock system, it's actually pretty good. But the client wanted a little bit more volume and more bass. So what we ended up going with is upgrading the floor woofers. So these woofers live on either side of the footwell. And then we did a Helix V12 DSP amplifier. So the other nice thing is we used a Burmester T-harness. So basically none of the wires were cut. So it plugs in and gives us all our inputs and our outputs. Now, we do have a couple of extra channels on this amplifier because we amplified every single channel. So center, doors, underseat subs, rear doors, and rear effects. But we still have a couple of extra channels if the client ever wants to add an actual subwoofer. And we'll show you under the floorboard, there's space to put an additional sub box. Still take up no space, but the car will sound 100% better. And it looks 100% stock. So just wanted to show you Honda's amazing handiwork. So this is the level of install. I mean, just ridiculous. I'm always blown away at the level of install. But so this is a composite panel, and I don't know if you can see, but he's counterbored all these bolts so that he can bolt to the existing posts that live here already. This is obviously the amplifier. Check this out. So the power is braided, the ground is braided, and then the speaker harness, this is that T harness. It's wrapped so that it mimics the OEM connections. All the inputs and outputs are labeled. So they're labeled on here, so you know exactly what all the inputs and outputs are. And then even if you take a look here, everything has a ferrule on it. So a ferrule terminates the end and allows it to be more solid connection inside the amplifier, less likely for it to fray and break and fall apart. So it's just a longevity thing. It helps the install last longer. Because a lot of times people are like, well, why do you need ferrules? Why do you need any of that stuff? Some of it is obviously aesthetic. It makes it look better, but a lot of it is functional, right? So the braiding helps keep the wire in case something rubs up against it or goes to touch it, it doesn't destroy it. The wrapping the harness this way allows us to still access the wiring without having to rip the harness up, but it also keeps it nice and neat and looking good, but it's still a function. The ferrules keep the wires from getting frayed. When you crank the terminal down on the wires, if they're all loose, they can just break because they're really thin. But if they're in a ferrule, contained in one of the ferrules, when it crushes it, the ferrule actually clamps down on all of the wiring. It keeps the set screw from making direct contact with the wires and destroying them. It actually smashes down the ferrule, and then the ferrule grabs onto the wires. Because he has all this empty space, we can actually add or build in a custom sub enclosure that lives here, or if he doesn't care about running a spare, we can remove the spare itself. But it leaves it flexible to be able to add more bass and more speakers down the road. So the other nice thing about doing the upgrade this way is, so this is, again, we talk about foundational, right? So this is if you're not trying to change out all the speakers, let's say you have a premium audio system, right? Which you paid anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 is typically the upgrade when you ordered the car or bought the car. We can do an upgrade like this, where we do an amplifier with a DSP, which that gives us more power, and more than the power is more control. It gives us the ability to tailor and tune the system to your music preference. The power definitely helps because we get more volume, more clarity, and more definition. The other thing in this one is, because this car actually has 8-inch subs, we're able to upgrade the 8-inch floor subwoofers. But in another system, let's say you had a system that didn't have the larger subwoofers, we could add a small sub in the spare, in the trunk, to give you a better overall experience. So now you have better highs, better mids, and better sub bass because the car didn't have any. These are the original floor subs. So these live in the front footwells. So the new subs, which are the match, as you can see, they're vehicle specific. So they're literally made for the Mercedes. A lot of the Mercedes use this subwoofer setup. So these are the originals, and then the new ones, they're just a better quality subwoofer that can take obviously much more power than the factory can. The factory is designed for, to work with as little power as possible. That's why they run these paper cones. They're just plastic. And the aftermarkets are made of much better materials and are able to take much more power than the standard speakers can.
Visit our website at showtimeaudiochicago.com.